Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, here with a look at one of the easiest sells SH Figuarts has had on its hands in a long time. Whether you know him as the Green Ranger, the Dragonranger, or the Green Dragon Ranger, fans on either side of the Pacific have been waiting for a higher-end action figure of this suit for quite a while. Now, I'm no stickler for the most minute of minute details on my adult-oriented Power Rangers collectibles, but god damn this looks like the Green Ranger. Jason David Burai's uniform is replicated down to the wrinkles of his boots, with the triangle patterns of his cuffs being outright sculpted in. The only things missing are the jawline clasps of the stunt actor helmet from the show, and look, if you're someone who wants those, you're not incorrect, you're just riding on a different road than I am. The paint's generally clean, with some really magnificent detail work on Tommy's Dragonranger buckle, golden chest plate, and the little red-centered gold dot on his forehead. Well played, paint-appers. Like any average Joe SH Figuart, the Green Ranger's got a pleasant bevy of hand options, starting as always with a set of punchin' fists. There are also a pair of weird hands. They're kinda open, but kinda grippy, yet they're rather unnecessary as there are far more specialized gripping hands to come. Maybe I'm just missing something. Anyway, back on track, there are a pair of hands for holding the Feather-muckin' Dragon Dagger. They have their thumbs fused to the fingers, which means you have to slide the dagger in there rather tightly. It worries me a little bit, as the Jusoken is gorgeous! The sculpt is tight, and the paintwork is obscene in the best way. There was one accessory this toy had to get right, and it pulled off that task handily. The other pair of gripping hands are a bit wider with a separate thumb made to hold Helfried's Sword of Darkness. And hey, guess what? This blade is just as gorgeously crafted as Tom Burai's flute knife. In particular, the clear red gemstone cherry tops the sword really well. The final pair of hands are all martial artsy and gestury, practically made for hours of Sit-hiyaaah fun. But they are also the pair of hands one would use to put the Dragonranger into his iconic Dragon Caesarzord summoning pose. It's a little unclear at first how they work. The key thing is that the dagger actually snaps tightly into the left hand, though his right flutin' hand certainly can hold the dagger to some degree on its own. Pose Green Range. Okay, I'm sorry. So this guy is an SH Figuarts toy. That means that most people collecting these know what all the joints are, so do they work? That's the question. The head joint works, the inner joint on the inside of the neck kind of works. The sculpt of the neck does get in the way a little bit of letting you get that extra internal bend, but hey, it's there. It kind of works. The shoulders are pretty good. Now, his biceps do bump into the shield a little bit. That means he can't get his arms to cross in front of him very easily, and he can't get him to get his arms, like, completely vertically up, you know, all the times that he used to do that in the show. However, the upside of this thing is that it also covers for the shoulders. Now, the shoulders have a cover inside them that basically covers the skeleton of the joint. It's the usual setup of a Sentai figure who doesn't have a bicep cut where there's a sleeve that swivels around an internal skeleton. And this cover looks like it could be pretty good. Now, I've not seen the Red Ranger in hand. I only have the green one right now. And it looks like they worked the pattern of the suit into the shoulder cover. That looks like that could get a little bit hinky, but who knows, because this guy has a big gold thing that covers it up. By the way, the gold thing is a separate sculpt. Even the strap here is a separate sculpt, but I have no idea how to get it off, and it clearly is not meant to come off. And on the Green Ranger, I guess I could see that you might want to make, you know, what he looks like when he's losing his powers. But, hey, I bet you Bandai Tamashii will come through on that someday. Other than that, his elbows are fully double-jointed in the best way. His wrists have that thing where the joint works like this. And then if you want, you can take the joint and swivel it and swivel the hand. And then now he's got this really good knifing joint. His abdomen joint is decent. There's enough tilt in every direction for me to feel like I'm getting something out of it, although he can't go forward too far. His waist is on a similar ball joint connection, which is pretty deep in many directions. His hips do that Figuarts thing where they move around or they pull down and move around even more. The thigh swivel can look a little bit odd. If you want to have like a totally smooth suit look, you kind of have to have his knees pointed very, very forward, almost to the point of being pointed inwards. And if you have him kind of naturally standing, it does look a bit like segmented armor there, but pretend it's the feature film, for crying out loud. His holster is poseable, and his knees are double jointed, And I guess when you just bend like that bottom joint, it does look kind of weird, so don't just bend that joint if you're gonna do one. No boot cut, but why? Because he turns here anyway, so why would... I don't understand. There's an ankle tilt, and then there's an ankle tilt, and there's a toe joint for those of you who are into that kind of thing. I'm not a judge of character in that regard. So, the Green Ranger is pretty good for a Sentai Figuarts toy. His only limitation is in his shoulders, but it's one of those cases where it's limiting poses that only a sage such as Giga Beetle would engage in. So, for my purposes, I'm okay with it. That bit of limitation comes with the added bonus of some cool-looking swag and a little bit of visual cover for something that looks like it could get a bit hinky, because, you know, I start spinning these things around, and that looks like that might get a little bit unnatural. I don't know. I'll take a look once I eventually get the Red Ranger, and we'll see how that turned out, because I don't know how to look at other people's coverage of toys. My brain filters it out. It all just looks like pornography to me, and I have no interest in that.
Powerful Ranger Dato! Kodo belt to neck parts o swap shimasu! Uzukashi dane! Soshite Korewa the Powerful Ranger no green desu! E bonus parts Dato! Naraba omae no sakai wo ikimashou!
As soon as SH Figuarts dipped its toes into the Sentai world, people have been clamoring for this Ranger du Ver to join the simple style in heroic action. And I think Bandai hit it out of the park on this guy. Not only does he feel like he got every accessory he needed, but they all look very well made. Craftsmanship went into this Ranger of Dragon Mecha with nothing feeling very rushed and no corners feeling unfinished. My only real problem is that the golden shield can get in the way of the arms now and then. But I think the only viable solution would be the unenviable idea of making it out of stuntman foam. This is a figure for all kinds of people. SH Figuarts collectors, Sentai hardcores, Power Ranger Judliners, and even the folks who just remember that the Green Ranger's the coolest one of them all. If you feel drawn in, succumb to the flesh and pick one up. Japan's got 'em, and Bluefin's done their own Power Rangers-oriented North American release, to coincide with the brand's 20th anniversary. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and would a 2-scale Dragonzord cockpit be pushing things too far? Maybe. If you don't have the power.